If you're over 60 and you've been told that walking is the best thing you can do for your health, I want you to pause for just a moment because what I'm about to share might completely change how you think about exercise. As a surgeon, I've seen thousands of patients who walked every single day and still struggled with balance issues, weak legs, joint pain, and declining strength. And I've also seen seniors who barely walked for exercise, but stayed strong, steady, and independent well into their 70s and 80s. The difference wasn't luck or genetics. The difference was how they trained their bodies. Today, I'm going to reveal 5 simple wall exercises that research and real-world clinical experience show can outperform walking after 60, especially when it comes to strength, balance, joint protection, and preventing falls. And the best part is you can do all of them safely at home using nothing more than a wall. Now, let me be very clear right from the start. Walking is not bad. It's a natural human movement, it's good for circulation, and it's certainly better than sitting all day. But here's the misconception that I see harming older adults every single week in my clinic. Walking alone is enough. After 60, your body changes in very specific ways. You naturally lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. Your reaction time slows. Your balance systems become less sharp. Your joints, especially knees, hips, and the lower back, become less forgiving. Walking does very little to slow muscle loss, and it does almost nothing to train balance under controlled conditions. In fact, for many seniors, excessive walking can quietly increase joint wear without building the strength needed to protect those joints. That's why so many people say, "I walk every day, but I still feel weaker every year." If that sounds familiar, you're exactly who this video is for. When I talk about wall exercises, I'm not talking about anything extreme or athletic. I'm talking about movements that use the wall as a support, a guide, and a safety net. From a surgical perspective, this is incredibly important. The wall allows you to load muscles gently, maintain proper alignment, and dramatically reduce the risk of falling, while still challenging the body in ways walking never can. These exercises engage your legs, hips, core, and even your posture muscles all at once. They also improve something called proprioception, which is your body's ability to know where it is in space. That's a fancy medical term, but it's one of the most important factors in fall prevention. Let's start with the first wall exercise, and this one alone can change how your knees and hips feel within a few weeks if done consistently. Stand with your back against the wall, feet about shoulder width apart and slightly forward. Now gently slide down the wall just a little, as if you're starting to sit in an invisible chair. You don't need to go deep. Even a small bend in the knees is enough. Hold that position while breathing normally. What's happening here is extremely powerful. Unlike walking, which uses momentum, this position forces your thigh muscles, especially the quadriceps, to work continuously. These muscles are critical for standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, and stabilizing the knee joint. In surgical rehab, this type of static strength work is often used to rebuild knees after injury because it strengthens without excessive joint movement. For seniors, it does something even more valuable. It teaches your muscles to support the joints rather than the joints taking all the stress. If your knees ache after long walks, this is often what's missing. As you hold this position, you're also training your core and lower back to stay aligned. Walking doesn't do that. Most people walk with poor posture, leaning forward, compressing the spine. Against the wall, your spine is gently reminded of its natural alignment. Over time, this can reduce back stiffness and improve how upright you feel throughout the day. And here's a key tip I always give my patients. If your legs start shaking, that's not a bad sign. That's your nervous system waking up dormant muscle fibers. That shaking is your body getting stronger. Now, once you understand that concept, we move into the second wall exercise, which is one of the best balance builders I know for people over 60. Stand sideways next to a wall with one hand lightly touching it for support. Place one foot directly in front of the other, like you're standing on a tightrope. Now hold that position. That's it. It sounds almost too simple, but medically, this is gold. Walking is repetitive and predictable. Balance, however, is about controlling your body when it's slightly off-center. This position challenges the small stabilizing muscles in your ankles, knees, hips, and core. These are the muscles that catch you when you trip on a rug or step off a curb. They rarely get trained by walking. As a surgeon, I can tell you that many hip fractures don't happen because bones are weak alone. They happen because balance fails for just a split second. This exercise retrains your brain and body to communicate faster. You're essentially practicing not falling in a safe environment. Over time, you can switch which foot is in front, or even briefly reduce how much you rely on the wall. You're teaching your nervous system confidence again. That confidence changes how you move everywhere else, including when you walk. The third wall exercise focuses on something most people completely ignore until it's gone: hip stability. Stand facing the wall, hands resting on it at chest height. Shift your weight onto one leg, keeping your body tall, and slowly move the other leg slightly backward without arching your lower back. Then bring it back. This movement targets the glute muscles, especially the gluteus medius, which is essential for pelvic stability. Weak hips are one of the main reasons seniors develop a shuffling walk or side-to-side sway. Walking forward doesn't fully activate these muscles, but this controlled movement does. From a clinical standpoint, strong hips protect the knees and lower back. When hips are weak, other joints are forced to compensate. Over time, that leads to pain. This exercise teaches your hips to do their job again. It's slow, controlled, and supported by the wall, which makes it far safer than many standing exercises. If you've ever felt unsteady when standing on one leg, this is exactly the kind of training your body needs. Now let's talk about posture, because posture isn't about looking confident. It's about breathing, balance, and spinal health. The fourth wall exercise addresses this directly. Stand with your back against the wall, heels a few inches away, and gently press the back of your head, shoulders, and upper back into the wall. You don't need to force anything, just feel that contact. Then slowly raise your arms up and down along the wall like you're making a snow angel, only as far as comfortable. This movement opens the chest, strengthens the upper back, and counters years of forward-leaning posture. From a surgical and orthopedic perspective, poor posture increases fall risk because it shifts your center of gravity forward. It also compresses the lungs, reducing oxygen intake. Walking with poor posture reinforces these problems. This wall exercise reverses them. Patients often tell me they feel taller and breathe easier within days. That's not placebo, that's biomechanics working in your favor. Now, the fifth and final wall exercise ties everything together, and it's one of my favorites for overall coordination. Stand facing the wall again, hands lightly touching it. Slowly rise up onto your toes, then lower your heels back down under control. This strengthens the calves and ankles, which are absolutely critical for balance and propulsion. Walking uses the calves, yes, but usually in a very limited range, and often with stiff shoes that do half the work. This exercise forces your ankles to stabilize your entire body in a controlled way. In medical practice, ankle weakness is one of the earliest predictors of falls. People don't notice it because it happens gradually. Strengthening this area improves your ability to correct yourself when you lose balance. It also improves circulation in the lower legs, which is a major benefit for seniors dealing with swelling or stiffness. Now, here's the most important part, and this is where many people go wrong. These exercises are not about pushing hard or feeling exhausted. They are about consistency and control. Walking can be done mindlessly. These movements require awareness. That's why they're so effective. I usually recommend starting with just a few minutes a day, 1 or 2 rounds of each movement done slowly while focusing on posture and breathing. Over time, your strength builds, your balance improves, and your confidence returns. I also want to address safety because that matters deeply to me as a surgeon. Always use the wall as your support. If something causes sharp pain, you stop. Mild muscle fatigue is normal. Joint pain is not. And if you have a medical condition or recent surgery, always check with your healthcare provider before starting any new exercise routine. These movements are gentle, but they are still powerful. So, let's bring this all together. Walking keeps you moving, but it doesn't stop age-related muscle loss, balance decline, or posture problems on its own. These 5 wall exercises directly target the systems that keep you independent after 60. They strengthen your legs without damaging your joints, train your balance in a safe environment, improve posture and breathing, and reduce your risk of falls in a way walking simply cannot match. If you remember nothing else from this video, remember this. The goal after 60 is not just to move more, it's to move better. Stronger muscles, better balance, and safer movement patterns are what protect your health long term.
Let's now go deeper into why these wall-based movements work so well after 60 and how to use them in a way that actually changes your body instead of just tiring it out. One of the biggest mistakes I see seniors make is believing that exercise has to feel hard to be effective. From a medical perspective, that idea causes more harm than good. After 60, your joints, connective tissue, and nervous system respond far better to controlled tension than repetitive impact. Walking is repetitive impact. Every step sends a small shock through the ankles, knees, hips, and spine. When muscles are strong, they absorb that shock. When muscles are weak, the joints take it instead. Wall exercises flip that equation by rebuilding the muscles first, so daily movement becomes safer and easier. When you press your body against a wall, you create external feedback. Your body instantly knows when it's out of alignment. That feedback is incredibly valuable because aging reduces body awareness. Many people don't realize they're leaning forward, shifting weight unevenly, or locking their knees until pain shows up. The wall acts like a silent coach, guiding your posture and distributing force evenly. This is one reason surgeons and physical therapists rely so heavily on wall-supported movements in rehabilitation. They allow strength gains without chaos. As you perform the wall-supported knee bend, for example, you're doing something walking never accomplishes. You're teaching the thigh muscles to stay engaged under load. Walking uses the legs in a swing and catch pattern. The muscles turn on briefly, then relax. That's fine for endurance, but it's not enough to maintain strength. Strength is what allows you to stand up from a chair without using your hands, climb stairs confidently, and protect your knees from arthritis-related stress. Holding that position against the wall creates what we call isometric strength. Research shows isometric work is especially effective for older adults because it builds muscle without irritating the joints. Breathing during these movements matters more than most people think. Shallow breathing signals stress to the nervous system. Deep, steady breathing tells the body it's safe. When your body feels safe, it allows muscles to activate more fully. That's why I always encourage slow nasal breathing during wall exercises. You're not just training muscles, you're training your nervous system to stay calm under physical effort. This has a powerful carryover effect into daily life. People often report feeling steadier, less anxious about movement, and more confident overall. As we move into balance-focused wall exercises, the benefits become even more profound. Balance is not a single ability. It's a conversation between your eyes, inner ears, joints, and brain. Walking mostly relies on forward vision and momentum. It doesn't challenge side-to-side stability or single-leg control very much. When you stand in a staggered stance or shift weight onto one leg while using the wall for light support, you wake up dormant balance pathways. These pathways fade with age simply because they're not used. The good news is they come back quickly when stimulated correctly. From a surgical standpoint, fall prevention is not about making bones stronger alone. It's about preventing the fall in the first place. These balance-focused wall movements train micro-adjustments, tiny corrections in the ankles and hips that happen in fractions of a second. Those corrections are what keep you upright when you stumble. The wall gives you just enough security to explore those movements without fear. Fear is a major barrier for seniors. When fear is removed, progress accelerates. Hip strength deserves special attention because it influences nearly everything else. Weak hips lead to knee pain, back pain, and poor balance. Walking straight ahead barely challenges the hip's stabilizing role. Wall-supported leg movements force the hips to control motion slowly and deliberately. This strengthens the muscles that keep your pelvis level. A level pelvis means less strain on the spine and better alignment all the way down to the feet. Clinically, this translates to fewer aches and a smoother, more confident gait. Posture-focused wall movements are equally transformative. Years of sitting, phone use, and forward-leaning habits shorten the chest muscles and weaken the upper back. This pulls the body forward, shifting weight toward the toes. That shift alone increases fall risk significantly. Standing against the wall and moving the arms while maintaining contact retrains the upper body to stack correctly over the hips. Better posture improves lung expansion, which improves oxygen delivery. More oxygen means better endurance, clearer thinking, and faster muscle recovery. Walking does not address this unless posture is already good, which for most people it isn't. The calf and ankle-focused wall exercise may look simple, but its impact is enormous. The ankles are your first line of defense against losing balance. Every step you take involves a rapid adjustment at the ankle joint. When those muscles are weak or slow to respond, the body can't recover in time. Rising onto the toes while lightly supported by the wall strengthens these muscles and improves joint awareness. This improves not just balance, but walking efficiency as well. Many people find that after a few weeks of this exercise, their walking feels lighter and more controlled. Consistency is where the real results come from. These exercises don't need to be long or exhausting. In fact, shorter sessions done daily are far more effective than long sessions done occasionally. From a medical perspective, frequent low-intensity stimulation keeps muscles and nerves responsive. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't do it once a week for an hour, you do it daily to maintain health. Wall exercises work the same way for your movement system. Another common mistake is rushing. Speed hides weakness. Slow movement exposes it and allows correction. When you move slowly against the wall, you give your brain time to learn. That learning is what creates lasting change. Over time, movements that once felt challenging become automatic. That's when you know your body is adapting in a meaningful way. It's also important to understand that these exercises complement walking rather than completely replacing it. Walking is still fine for enjoyment, fresh air, and light cardiovascular activity. The problem arises when walking is the only form of exercise. Wall exercises fill the gaps that walking leaves behind. They build strength, balance, and posture so that walking becomes safer and more beneficial instead of a source of joint strain. Pay attention to how your body feels outside of exercise. Are you getting out of chairs more easily? Do stairs feel less intimidating? Are you less stiff in the morning? These are the real markers of progress, not how far you can walk, but how well you move through daily life. That's the standard I use with my patients, because that's what determines independence. If fatigue appears, that's normal at first. Fatigue means muscles are being asked to work again. Sharp pain, however, is a signal to stop. Mild muscle soreness is acceptable, joint pain is not. Adjust depth, duration, or support as needed. The wall is always there to help you scale the movement safely. Over weeks and months, these exercises create a foundation of strength, balance, and confidence. Once that foundation is in place, everything else becomes easier. Walking improves, standing improves, even simple things like reaching into cabinets or turning quickly feel more controlled. That's the true power of these wall-based movements, and that's why after 60, they consistently outperform walking alone when it comes to long-term health and independence.